Yo, what's going on, PAPAFAM? Welcome back to another video. Today we're going to learn all about props, why they're so crucial to you mastering it as a React developer. Get ready, roll the intro, let's go. So today's video is made possible by the amazing guys over at Skillshare. Before we get started, check this out. Skillshare is an online learning community where millions of people come together to take the next step in their creative journey. The thing I love about Skillshare is that there are no ads. They're always launching new premium classes, and they also recommend really interesting classes. So before you know it, I'm actually no longer watching TV or Netflix. All I do is watch Skillshare while I'm actually eating my food. Most classes are under 60 minutes, so they should be able to fit any schedule, whether you're super busy or you've got a little bit more time on your hands. I've actually gone ahead and dropped the React Basics 101 entire class on Skillshare. The first 1,000 people to use the link in the description are going to get a free month worth of premium Skillshare, and you're going to be able to, with that, access the React Basics which I've uploaded. On top of that, you're going to get access to thousands and thousands of courses available on Skillshare's platform. I've actually been checking out an amazing video editing class at the moment by Ali Abdal, where I was actually able to find out how I could use my iPad to add animated handwriting into my videos to level up my production value. And now I'm making the best use out of my iPad, as well as leveling up my Final Cut production game. So this is just an example of the amazing value that I've got since I've signed up at Skillshare. And if you guys want to go ahead and benefit from this just like I have, then go ahead and remember, the first 1,000 people to go ahead and grab that link are going to get one free month of Skillshare Premium, which means that you can access my React Basics 101 class. It's completely free, you have nothing to lose, and then after that you can go ahead and continue if you're enjoying what you see on Skillshare. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another lesson. In today's lesson we're going to be talking about props and why they make React so damn useful. Now, it's the reason why components can be reusable in the first place. So props simply stands for properties. And imagine we had an app like, imagine we had a component like a product, right? A product would have something like a name, a description, a price. We would write the component once, and then we would reuse it several times and simply change the props that we pass to it. This would then render out to be the desired outcome that we want. So I'm going to explain this and break this down very, very simply for us. Now, it's worth mentioning that props are present in both functional and class-based components. So something we need to know is that props are passed from the top down. So imagine we had the app component at the top, and then we rendered several products underneath. We would pass data from the top component down to those products, and that would render out onto the screen. We would then be able to render out several components underneath that and pass props as required. This is why we have a tree-like structure in React, and it's essentially how React determines what to re-render at what different time. Now, I'm going to go through an example here which will explain all of this to you, so don't worry if it doesn't make sense. We're going to use the example of a shop like Amazon, which is essentially an app which has lots of different products on display and different subcomponents that are rendered underneath them. So let's dive into an example right now. So here is our application, and imagine it was an Amazon style app, right? So it's an e-commerce platform. Typically we would start with the app itself. So the app component itself, just going to draw a little box around that to resemble a component. This would render out several subcomponents beneath it. So imagine if it rendered out 3 product components. So we're going to go ahead and write the product over here like so. And what this will do is we're going to go ahead and create one product and then reuse it several times where it's needed. Okay, so this will actually pose several benefits. It means that essentially we only write the code once, and then we have styling for that one file, and if we ever change that, it's going to get changed in every single location that it's used across our app. Now, each product can be customized via the use of props. So like we said before, a product can have different properties such as a name, a title, so a description, sorry. We can have a name, a description, and we could have something like the price, right? And each one of these would get then passed over to each of the different components. So from the app component, we would go ahead and pass the required props to each of the components. So as we mentioned before, it would travel in a downwards tree-like motion. Now, if we have a component beneath this level, so imagine a product has a item description component. So imagine a product has an item description component, then this would then get rendered beneath it as such. So imagine we could go ahead and do the following. So imagine the product went ahead and rendered this right here. And then we could go ahead and it could be rendered out again for this and again for this, right? So as you can see, we have a tree-like structure where it's simply components being reused over and over again. So this would render this and this would render this. And the tree can go on and you can render whatever different components you want and however many different components you want at each level. Now, from this level, we could go ahead and pass something like, say the item description only took things like the name and description, then only these two can get passed down if we only want that. So if we want these two as props, then they can only be the ones that get passed down, and we could maybe leave the price, for example. So that is an example of how the props travel downwards and only downwards. So you can't actually go ahead and pass a prop back up the tree. Okay, so it's a very important thing to know. Now, another interesting tip that we have to remember are that props are read-only, which means once a component receives a bunch of props, they cannot be changed. We can only then use and consume the prop, but we cannot modify that property once it's passed down into a component. If we want to do that, what we would tend to do is use state at the component above, and then we would modify it accordingly and then pass it down to the child component. So what we're going to do now is we're going to dive into a demo application. So we're going to start off from where we left off. Let's hop into our code. So here we have a starting application from Create React App, and we've just modified it to say hello world. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and create our first Amazon-like application, okay? So imagine what we're going to do here is we're actually going to go ahead and create a product and then render it here, here. So we're going to have 4 different products, and each one is going to take a name, a description, and a price, right? So imagine if we could pass these in each as different properties, then that would be pretty handy because then we only have to write one component and we can reuse it by passing different properties to that component. So in order to do that, I'm going to go ahead and create a product.js file, and I'm going to use ES snippets to go ahead and create my functional component. So here is our component made, and what we're going to do at this point is right here where we have the product being initialized, we're going to go ahead and say props. So props actually get passed in as a parameter to a functional component or class-based component. And the way we're going to access it is simply by going ahead and doing the following. So we can go ahead and say props dot whatever the prop is called. So if it was name, it will be props.name. If it was description, it will be description. And if it was price, it would be props.price. Okay. So what we're going to do at this point is I'm going to go back here and I'm actually going to go ahead and render a product. Okay, so notice it says auto import, so you might get that sometimes with IntelliSense, but if you don't, you can go ahead and simply import it at the top manually. Now what we're going to do is I'm going to pass in 3 props, and props are passed in just like HTML attributes. So here I'm going to go ahead and say name, and for this product we're going to say Amazon Echo, right? And for the description I'm going to go ahead and say your AI assistant. Awesome. Okay. And then for the price, I'm going to go ahead and pass in a value. So if we pass in a number, we do the JSX curly braces, and I'm going to go ahead and say this is $59.99. Okay. So there we go. That we have our first product with 3 different props being passed to it. So you can see it's very clean syntax. I'm going to go ahead and save that file, and the Prettier did a nice job of cleaning that up. I'm going to go back to product, and now we want to consume that information. So firstly, I'm going to go ahead and add a H1 tag. Now for the H1 tag, I'm going to go ahead firstly make myself a bit more visible by having the app on the left hand side and the product component on the right hand side. So here I'm going to go ahead and use the name prop. So I'm going to say props.name as a H1 tag, right? Then as a smaller H2 tag, I'm going to go ahead and say props.description. Okay, save it. Now the price, I want to do something special. I'm going to go ahead and say we have a H3, and I'm going to go ahead and add in the props.price here. But what I'm going to actually do is I'm going to go here and I'm going to add in the $sign before it, because it's going to be resembling a dollar amount, right? So we're going to have props name, props description, props price. So let's go ahead and test this. I'm going to go ahead and press Command J. Pull up my terminal, and we are running on localhost 3000. I'm going to go ahead and open this up right now. So let's go over to localhost 3000, And you should be able to see, there we go. We have our component being rendered on the screen. So you can see it actually pulled through that property that I passed in. So let's go back and jump to our code. And what I'm going to do is split the screen for you guys so you guys can see this very, very simply. And what I'm going to do now is pass over here. So here you can see in app, we have the product being rendered. We have the name, Amazon Echo. We have the description, your AI assistant, and we have the price $59.99. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the name to go ahead and prove that this is correct. So we're going to say Google Home. And I'm going to save. And now you can see it changed to Google Home. So this is really handy. And what is this handy for? It means that we can actually go ahead and make one component, reuse it several times all throughout our application. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to copy this and I'm going to paste it 3 times. And I'm going to get rid of these comments. Okay. And I'm going to change each of these products. I'm going to say iPhone, and I'm going to say the new iPhone 12 Pro Max. Nice. I'm going to say the best iPhone, because that's what they always say. Then I'm going to say price is 1,200 because, you know, iPhones are expensive. And then here I'm going to go ahead, and this was bugging me. I can't do that to myself. Right now here I'm going to go ahead and say, let's go with a MacBook Pro. Okay. And then your favorite computer, little PC attack. Right. And then we're going to go ahead and say it's 2,500 because they're even more expensive. Right. So I'm going to go ahead, save it, and watch the magic. There we go, guys. So you can see we're just reusing this component 3 times with different properties. Right. And it goes ahead and it renders accordingly. So if I go over to product, you can see our code is extremely clean at this point. Now, what I mentioned before is that we could actually have a item description or another child component underneath this and pass the props down to them. So the first thing I'm going to do is show you a little neat trick. So in ES6, we have something called ES6 destructuring. So what we can do is props, instead of saying props.name, props.description, props.price, we can have curly braces around the props to say, pull apart this object, which is called destructuring. And then what we can do is we can go ahead and grab the elements directly at this point. So we can say description, and price. So now what I can do is I can go ahead and get rid of all of the following things. So now it's name, description, and price, because we're actually pulling apart the props at this point, destructuring it, and then we're rendering it. So you can see if I save it, nothing broke. Okay. But if it broke at that point, probably didn't have some of your syntax right. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to create another subcomponent called item description. And we're going to pass props down to that one. And I'm going to show you how that tree structure works. So let's go ahead and create a item description component. And this will most likely error because we haven't got an item description component, which makes sense. I'm going to go ahead and create that item description.js, save it. I'm going to go ahead and say RFCE, boom, we have it up and running. Okay, so that's awesome. And then now we go ahead and we get some props. And as I mentioned before, the item description is going to take the name and the description only. Okay, so just a sort of test right here. So let's go ahead and save that. And then what we're going to say is it's going to have a P tag, which will then show the name. So let's go ahead and say it takes the name. And I'm going to have another P tag underneath it, which is going to be in italics. And this is going to have the description. Okay, there we go. And now what we're going to do is go back to our product. I'm going to go to the end of the component name, control spacebar, neat little trick, auto import. That will be a nice little trick for you guys. And now what we can see is the item description renders, but I can't see anything on the screen, Sonny. That's correct because we haven't actually passed any props, which means that this is actually blank, right? So what I'm going to do now is rather than having the name and description over here, I'm going to go ahead and say, I'm going to move the price underneath the item description as such. And I'm just going to simply pass this down as a prop. So I'm going to say the name prop in this case is the name prop that we passed down from the app component. And then here I'm going to say the description prop of item description is the description prop passed down from the app. And then here we keep the price in this level. Save it. And now you can see we have a nice item description with a big price, right? So it's very, very powerful, okay? Now, This is extremely reusable, it's extremely powerful, and it's quite simple in terms of how effective and useful it is. So notice how, remember I said it was top down, which meant that you can't pass the prop back up. So if I want to push the name back up to the app from this level, we can't because we went downwards. And again, if I was go inside the item description, I can no longer pass the name and description back up, okay? Unless we introduce something like Redux, in which case there's a whole different type of data flow, which we're going to talk about in a later lesson. So with that said, now what we're going to do is we are going to demonstrate how you can change one of these components to a class-based component. And that is going to show you guys how to use props inside of a class-based component and show you how it's a little bit more complicated to write that. So as I've mentioned previously, functional components are the way forward. However, it's most likely that the code bases that you're going to be interacting with are older. And remember, guys, class-based components were out longer than functional components. So we need to know both, unfortunately. It is just the way it is. So at this point, what I'm going to do is I'm going to refactor this to become a class-based component. So that way you get some experience about going from functional to class-based as well. So at this point, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and copy this JSX so I don't lose that for later. I'm going to go ahead, get rid of all of this code, and I'm going to use my handy little snippets, RCC, to create a class component. Now inside, I'm going to paste back my JSX so we have everything we started with. But remember, I don't actually have access to my props anymore. So how do I use the props? So in class-based components, it's not actually as clear as it may have been before. So firstly, we need to go ahead and say this.props.name now, right? So again, it's a little bit more abstracted. And even here, I need to say this.props.description. Hit save, and you can see now we get access to those props, right? So you can see this is actually a bit more, there's a bit more code going on, right? We have the class, we have the extends component, we have a render, and then we have the return block inside of it. Okay. Now, what you might see in traditional apps is we used to have to write this syntax like so, where it said constructor props, super props, but we no longer actually need to go ahead and write this. And this is typically where we would go ahead and say this.state and define our state if we were doing so, as we showed you in the previous lesson. Okay. But in the modern React syntax, we don't actually need that, which is quite nice. Okay. And you can see it still works without that. Now, a little trick and one of the little top tips that I've actually found people do. Now, what we can do at this point to clean this up a little bit, if you are stuck with using class-based components, is inside the render block where we can actually have some JSX, we can go ahead and say this, we can go ahead and say const, and then we can destructure, so object destructuring, another ES6 function, is we can go ahead and say the name and description from this.props. And what this is doing is going inside of this.props and it's pulling the name and description. So what we can now do is go to this.props and get rid of it. So that's another way of cleaning up your code if you're stuck with using a class-based component. But remember, guys, you're not going to be stuck. It is always possible to go ahead and translate this entire code right here to a functional component. So with that said, guys, I hope this has been useful to show you the differences between a class-based component and a functional component. And hopefully you guys are on my side and you prefer the functional approach, because that is the modern approach for many reasons. And the main one being simplicity. Guys, use that one. It's a lot more simple. And with that said, guys, it's very clear how we can go ahead and write code once, reuse it in several places with props. Now, this doesn't look too great. So in the next lesson, I'm going to show you guys how to add some style to your code and actually style each of your components, and also show you how to level up your React skills by combining components with their own CSS files and watching the magic unfold in front of your eyes. So I hope you guys enjoyed that, and I will see you guys in the next lesson. Peace.